The sages were very strict about not delaying the mitzvah to get married because they say it's virtually impossible for a man not to have a seminal emission throughout his life. What if a man never meets his wife or his soulmate, never gets married for whatever reason? What if Hashem doesn't want him to get married? What does such a person do?
It's a very good question. In the world that we live in, the more a person understands himself and his responsibility, the more he understands his own limitations. Now, the more a person understands his own limitations, the better his clarity is going to be about what his responsibility is in the world. Meaning that you know that you can try to make money, but there's no guarantee that you'll succeed. You could try to have kids, but there's no guarantee you'll succeed. You could try to get married, but there's no guarantee to succeed. So of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your Father in heaven that loves you, He's not going to judge you and punish you based on something that you could not do, because He is the one that decides whether you succeed or not. He's the one that decides whether your business will prosper or fail. He's the one that decides whether your seed is going to work and you're going to have a kid or not. He's the one that decides whether your wife is going to be able to carry the kid. He's going to be the one that decides whether you're going to find even a wife at all. He's going to be the one that decides everything. The only decision that's in your hands is how much you try. That's what you're based. That's your whole judgment is based on effort, not success. So if a person tries to do everything possible, he learns Torah, he does mitzvot, he calls the shatchanim, and he asks them, please help me, here's my resume, you need a resume, this one, that one, he does whatever he needs, he does his ishtadlut, he continues praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As long as he does his ishtadlut, if it doesn't succeed, there's no punishment to be made. Why? That's what it is. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided not to give. But that means that he's also not allowed to give up. Because maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to get married at 25. He wants you to get married at 35. I have a cousin that is a huge Talmid Chacham. He did tshuva almost 30 years ago. And he has become a very, very serious Rav in Israel. So much so that he literally, practically sleeps in the yeshiva. Now, I've never learned with him, but I can tell you from what I've heard from others, he's an enormous Talmid Chacham. And he is now approaching almost 50 years old. And he's a person that's mamash Kodesh Kodeshim, so holy that when we went to visit, last time we went to visit, he wasn't willing to meet me unless I was by myself. He wasn't willing to see my mom. He wasn't willing to see other women. He wasn't willing to see my wife. My wife, Baruch Hashem, very modest. Everybody's modest, but he's not even willing to look at women. Not looking to look. Look, forget to talk about the look, even at a modest one. Not willing to look at nothing. Here's a person that's Kodesh Kodeshim. He's almost 50 years old and he's single. Never been married. Still looking. Now I wanted to bring him a few shidduchim, but unfortunately he doesn't speak English. He speaks, and most of the people that I know are English speakers. So, and also one of the issues that he's had is that he has no interest whatsoever in doing anything other than learn Torah. Meaning he needs a very special woman that wants him to learn Torah, doesn't want him to work even for 1 minute. He's mad. He's a very good-looking guy. He's nothing's wrong with him. Handsome, tall, very smart, everything is good. But he wants to learn Torah. That's what he wants in his life. Most women today, they okay, learn Torah, no problem, but we need some money. You need some money, no problem, I'll continue being, that's it. So, this, Rabotai, is not an easy shidduch. It's not an easy shidduch to find someone that speaks the same language, on top of it, someone that's willing to finance him, and on top of it, live in Israel. Because, even if you found somebody here in America, okay, she wants him to come here. Why? Because she has a job here. She makes, I don't know, $100,000 a year here, $50,000 a year here. She's okay to... No, he's not moving here. He's staying exactly where he is. He's not moving anywhere. He has his thing. Now, this is a big tzaddik, a big chacham, but he's almost 50 years old. No shidduch. What do you mean? You think that Hashem is going to punish him for not getting married? No, he wants to learn Torah. He wants to learn Torah. He wants to learn Torah, and Hashem is going to give him his shidduch whenever it comes. Now, if he never gets married, but if he gets married, Hashem, he does. But there's other people like him. Point is, he's supposed to try his best. He's supposed to try his best, and he tries his best. So if you try your best also, you do mitzvot, you do learn Torah, you give tzedakah, you do all the things that you need to do, Be'ezrat Hashem, you're going to succeed. If and that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to judge us on. He's going to judge us based on our effort. Our effort. If you've tried your best, there's nothing that you have to worry about. To add to it, since we talked about wasting seed, there's also a very common question that people ask. What about a couple that's married and they've already gone to their middle age and the woman is no longer able to bring children to the world? Are they allowed to be together? The same exact answers I just gave you. Of course they're allowed to be together. Yeah, but what do you mean? How are they allowed to be together if every time the guy has his seed, for sure it's not going to bring a baby. She's old already. She can't do it. So how come it's still allowed? Isn't that wasting seed? No, it's not. Why? Because technically you're still doing your effort. It's not in your hands whether you're going to bring a baby or not. Just because the doctor says you can't, or your whole physical shape, he said you can't, doesn't mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu decide like Sarai Imenu, 90 years old, one day she gives a baby. As long as you do your effort, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides whether that seed's going to work, whether the egg is going to work, whether a uterus is going to reappear. Who knows? The point being, Rabotai, is that when a person understands that his responsibility is connected to his limitations. Your limitation is that the best you can do is try. That's the most a person can do in this world. He can try to make money, he can try to get married, he can try to have kids, he can try to do a lot of things. That's really all you can do. Success is not in your hands. And that's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges us. He judges us based on our effort. Based on our effort. So, a man and woman, they're already in their middle ages, they cannot have kids. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says every time you're together it's a mitzvah also. Why? Because you're trying anyway. You're trying anyway. That's it. Also, there's a HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it pleasurable for a reason as well. You're also allowed to enjoy. But again, the whole issue of seed, don't ever think for a second that it's wasting seed. Why? Because again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that decides whether this is going to actually consummate and become a baby or not, regardless of what the age is. So it's the same answer, just different context as far as the marriage, as far as that.